Thank you for coming and being here and using this platform to create some joy in your life. I'm just going to show you a quick lesson. In this lesson, I do a lot of repetitive patterns and mark making. I use different colors. This is really just fun for the senses. So I would say, getting your art journal, getting and starting with a lighter color, and take a paintbrush and just do a repetitive pattern. What I'm going to do is layers and layers. I think I have 6 layers total, and then we're going to put a drawing on top. And this is a really easy way to get out of your head. Don't worry too much about having to be an artist, having things to be perfect, knowing what you're going to be creating. I am using Blick's paints, and they come in a set where you get a lot of different colors. It's not the highest quality, but it's enough for you to be able to make just beautiful art and not having to be an artist. And this is a great way to learn. So as I wrap up that first layer, you'll see it's just bold yellow on a white page. As I go into a second layer, I am looking to make a repetitive pattern again. I'm using a different color, so it makes the yellow pop a little bit, but really I'm just creating texture and I'm having fun because I'm not thinking, and not thinking really is a low stress vibe for me, which I just love. And I love not having to put thought into what I'm creating. I'm just curious on how it's going to come out. I'm picking colors I like, and these patterns just let me create something without much thought. So I'm filling up the page with the second pattern. I'm picking a different color that I really enjoy. This is more of a magenta pink color. And I'm picking a different way to make the mark. I'm still going from left to right across the page as I fill up this page. But you can really do anything that suits you, that you feel comfortable with, that is calling you. Or you can copy what I'm doing. And either way works. I think copying is a way for people to really learn what they like. I'm taking a blue now, which I mixed in with white, so it's a little bit of a lighter blue, and I'm just making dots for this third layer here. And obviously in between each one, if you are going to use the same paintbrush, you're just going to want to make sure to get all of the color off of the paintbrush so that way you don't create, so that you're getting the same vibrancy of that color that you want. And as I fill in this third layer of the blue, I'm enjoying the way that the pattern looks on my eye, and that's really important to me. You can also grab different shapes of paintbrushes as you do these layers, and I think that creates some nice contrast. And then always have a paper towel handy to wipe off your paintbrush, and a bit of a jar there for your water. And now I'm coming in again with one of the paintbrushes I've already used, and I'm just going at it from a different angle. And I'm not being so strict on creating a pattern that looks the same everywhere. It doesn't need to look the same everywhere. I'm also not worried about each layer drying. Yes, you can walk away at any time and come back to this project, or you can just go through all the layering all at once and not worry too much about all the paints and the layers drying. Now I'm going in with a bit of a darker color, and I'm going to move more diagonally. I like going in different directions. I think that adds a little bit more fun. And also, the way my brain works is I get very bored of different things. Yes, I like not thinking, but I also want to stimulate my brain a little bit. And with that, I like different colors, different patterns, and going in different directions. And this is the same blue that I used with that light blue pattern. It's just I didn't add any white to it. So you can clearly see it's getting a little bit more of a bold look. And I've got this video sped up a bit, but I took my time and I enjoyed myself. I'm just speeding it up, for those that are busy, that want to, do this within a 30-minute time frame. You can go as fast as you want, and you can be sloppy. It doesn't need to be super neat. That's the fun part. Okay, so this is my last layer of just orange dots. And I'm noticing that when I put the orange dots in any place that I have a gap where it's the white paper, I'm noticing that I get a little bit more of a pop of color. So therefore, I'm dancing around the page and I'm just kind of filling in some of those white spots. And this is what it ends up looking like. And these are, call it 6 layers of different patterns of mark making using different paintbrushes. And now I'm going to flip the page of my journal and draw something that I plan on drawing over the patterns. I just find that when I'm able to do a practice run on a white paper, it allows my brain to know what direction I'm going. And when you have a lot of pattern that's a distraction on the eye, sometimes it's good to know what you're going to do ahead of time or have a rough estimate. It's not always going to look exactly the same, but you get the gist. So once I've done that, I'm going to go in here with my pencil and I'm going to do, that same rough sketch of a botanical. You can do anything here. You can do palm leaves, you can do flowers. I'm just finding a really simple botanical sketch is what I want to do with this busyness. Now, here's what it looks like. I'm going to, because I can't see the pencil as well as I want to, I'm going to take a darker colored pencil and I'm just going to fill that in. So that way, when I come in with my paint and I fill up the background, it's very clear to me where my lines are. Now, I'm not too worried about being so detailed of my lines. As you can see, it's a bit of a rough sketch, and that's okay. I like that. That's makes it fun for me to not have to follow too many rules. So I'm following a process, but I'm also allowed to kind of work around the rules. Here, I've taken that blue color and I decided to do a dark background because I felt like my pattern was pretty bold and I just wanted that to pop as that pattern is going to be my leaves. So as I fill in this background, just something to note, oftentimes you might have to do, 2 layers of the background because I can still kind of see the pattern there. And some people might like that. And if you do like it, that's part of art. Art is you do what you like and what calls for you. And that's your flexibility and the fun. For me, I wanted to push back that pattern even more. So you're going to see in a little bit that I'm going to do this first layer. And the first layer is making sure that I don't paint over the lines. Sometimes when you go too quickly here, you might paint over that leaf, which is completely fine. There is a way to make a leaf with some paint pens afterwards, so don't worry about it. If you ended up painting over a leaf that you didn't want to, there's flexibility in that. Anyway, here I am wrapping up that first layer, and then you'll see I'm going to go on to the second layer to make sure that that background gets even darker. Once again, there really isn't much thinking involved here, and this is what I like. I can just come in here, come onto my table, open my art journal page, and I get lost in this. It's very relaxing. I find that my body relaxes and my eyes are stimulated by all the colors and the patterns. And I have to focus a little bit on where I'm putting the paint color. But this is non-stressful. It's a nice little break from my everyday life. And you can always pause this video if you're finding that you're going at a different pace. And if you want your pace to be slower, you can pause the video, you can rewind it. But this is really what this looks like after I've done all the work on the painting. Now I'm going to use these Posca pens, and these are really fun acrylic paint pens, and they allow me to outline what I've drawn in here. And the outline is a way to just enhance what the image is. And so I've put in my stems and I've outlined all the petals and the leaves. And the first outline I do is with a thick black Posca pen. I'm going to go in here and fill in just a little bit to make sure people know this is a flower. Just put in a little part in the middle, a little pink. And then I'm going to come in with a Posca pen and add a little bit of white or beige just to contrast the black and show a little lighting. So I'm dancing around the page, just filling in and outlining again. Now I am finding some gold paint, and this is just deco paint. You can get it at Michael's. This is also just not super expensive. It's quite economical, but I like adding some gold or metallic to the painting. I'm adding some seeds here or some berries, and then adding some gold on the tips of the leaves. And I'm also using some white paint. I find it pops a little bit more sometimes than the pen. And I'm outlining the berries, giving them stems, outlining the stems. It's just making it more contrast from the dark background to the leaves. So I just keep adding more outline. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's just adding a little dimension here. And then sometimes I like to add the white. I use my finger a lot. You don't have to. You can use the brush, but that just gives a little bit of dimension and softness, I think, to the pattern. And then you can go over any of these layers again, and all it's going to do is just enhance the pigment of the paint. So you'll get a little bit more of a pop with the contrast. So whether that's the black, the white, the gold, sometimes it's nice to go over it again. And you can see this is just a fun way to create something. So that's what it looks like at this point. And when I look at it, I always get tempted to add a little bit of the whimsical. So sometimes whimsical touches can be, add some gold dots. Just makes it a little more fun. And that's what I'm doing here again with the gold berries as well. And the other thing I see here with this one is just for me, there's a bit of a openness in the middle of the painting. And so I'm going to title this one Joy, and fit that word right there in the middle, using a thick Posca pen. And this one's more of a beige color. That's what I had on hand. And I'm just making a little bit more of a bold word there in the middle. But you can use anything. A lot of words just come to you as you're painting. At least that's what I find. And sometimes it's nice to add those in. And then I'm adding a little bit of the whimsical or the dots, adding a little metallic to the word with my gold paint that I have still on my palette. And, you can put your paints on a paper plate. You can put them on a palette paper right next to you. But that's what I do. This is what the final page looks like. And it brings me joy. These colors are happy colors to me. So that was fun. I hope you had fun joining me. Thank you so much.